Zach cause he done ran off. Saquon against the Rams, dog. I do this for my grams, dog. Protecting my fam, dog. Keep 100 grand, dog. It's part of the plan, dog. Japanese language, that's why I do not understand, y'all. If I don't lose no toes, I promise I'ma always stand tall. Do not understand, y'all. If I don't lose no toes, I promise I'ma always stand tall. Vibes.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Real Vibes, and we back, man. It's Uppercut Pod, y'all favorite boxing podcast in the world, man. Scoop isn't here today. He isn't available, but the show must go on. We're just going to do a quick video today. We have to talk about this huge Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora fight. This is one of the fights I'm personally looking forward to. I think this is going to be probably one of the fight of the year candidates. I think this is one of the best matchups we could have got because we have the elite, guy in Keith Thurman, where we're gonna see if he's past his prime or is he still that champ going against one of these guys who are trying to make and stamp his name in the boxing game, and it's Sebastian Fundora, who's already done many great things, but is gonna need a Keith Thurman to his name to improve his ranking. So let's just get right into it, man. Who has the advantage going to this fight, Sebastian Fundora or Keith Thurman? Well, we have to start with the experience of Keith Thurman, right? He's been in there with Hall of Famers, as we know, and really good fighters, Robert Guerrero, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao. These are some of the best fighters, not only of the generation, but some are even of all time, and he has that experience. He's been in there and he's put up great fights. Even in his only loss against Pacquiao, I would say that was a really close fight. You edge it out to Pacquiao. He got the knockdown, cool, but I wouldn't say Thurman embarrassed himself, and he put on a really great performance, right? So his technique in the ring has also been very good. He's heavy-handed. I think Thurman is going to have a lot of confidence going into this fight. Now, you also have the Fundora, where you can't even start to talk about Fundora without talking about the size, man. This dude is 6'6", long arms, and he knows how to use his frame, but he's also someone who likes to mix it up. He's not scared, as we've seen in his previous fights with Tim Tszyu. He's not scared to go in there and throw back. He'll take one to give two. He'll take two to give three. He's one of those fighters, man. Even though he can fight from the outside, he doesn't use it as much, which some people think he's not using all his advantages. So if he's going to try to get in there and tussle with Keith Thurman, he may give Thurman a shot, but he also just may stop Thurman. He has power, even though he's skinny. He has power, and he's looking to knock people out, man. That's what he's looking to do. In terms of the advantage, you kind of want to lean the younger guy. He's been more active, obviously, than Keith Thurman, so you kind of want to lean him, plus his advantages. But you can't even really talk about Keith Thurman without talking about his inactivity, man. Over the past 10 years, over the past decade, he's only fought 8 times, right? And you might say to yourself, man, he's so inactive. He hasn't been doing nothing. He's, for whatever reason, hasn't been fighting. And yeah, I agree. The injury bug and, delaying fights and, it's been a lot of stuff going on within Keith Thurman's, last 10 years to where he's only been able to fight 8 times. But the way I look at it is he's a young and fresh 37. Not being in all those wars, not being in all those fights kind of helps him in this advantage. He's still maybe just as fast as he was in 5 years ago. He may just be as strong. The skill might just be there because he hasn't been fighting. He's not a beat up 37 guy. He's not a guy who's been in 50 fights. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a young, fresh, previous champ, but who has all the skill and the mental capacity to pull off the upset. I wouldn't put it past Thurman at all to win this fight. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards Thurman, one-time Thurman, what he brings to the ring, I just don't think Sebastian Fundora has seen yet. Now, would I be surprised if Fundora won? Absolutely not. And he'll continue to wreck and go crazy in the super welterweight division. You know, he's already been making a name for himself, as we've already known. He's grown tremendously over the past few years since his previous loss, and you know, he ended up destroying Tim Tszyu, who Keith Thurman was supposed to fight. We remember, you know, Tim Tszyu was scheduled, then Keith had to pull out. Sebastian ended up going in there, and now he kind of took the thunder from Keith. So it's all about Keith Thurman trying to regain control of that super welterweight division and take back kind of what's his, you know. Another question I'm sure most people think, you know, do I think this fight will go to distance or do I think it'll be a knockout? Man, with these type of fighters, bro, I wouldn't be surprised at a knockout. But with that being said, who will get stopped is the question. I think both of these guys are dogs, you know. So Fundora, yes, we know he has been stopped, but he was trying to get up. He just couldn't. He got hit with a clean shot. He tried to get up. He couldn't, you know. But, you know, in all his other fights, he's usually the one stopping people. We never see, you know, someone take a Fundora's will. You know, he's going to keep fighting. He's not scared to mix it up at all. And as we know, he stopped Tim Tszyu in his last fight, so who knows? He may get a stop in this one. Same thing with Keith Thurman. He has been down, but he's never been stopped, and no one's taken his will. Even when he was knocked down against Manny Pacquiao, he got up and kind of won the second half of that fight. As I mentioned earlier, it was a really good fight, really close fight. So in terms of the knockout, I'm going to say I won't be surprised if one happens. I'm going to say it goes to the distance. You know, I'm going to say Keith Thurman by decision. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I just think that Keith, with him being experienced as he is, knows all the tips and tricks. He may just teach Fundora a lesson. It may be close, will be some fireworks, but I'm thinking Keith just might teach him a lesson. Last question for today. What happens if either guy wins? So if Fundora wins, I think he continues to skyrocket and continues to get closer to the pound-for-pound ranking, man. He's already fought a lot of great contenders. You know, this will be another world champ on his legacy. And I feel like right now, if he wins this fight, you got to say he's probably the best guy at super welterweight in terms of what he's accomplished so far and who he's been beating. He's been beating a lot of solid names over the past three years. So, and he's been stopping guys as well. So I think with a Fundora win, he's going to get that Hall of Famer on his resume. More people will respect him, and he'll just continue to rise up them ranks. Now, a Keith Thurman win, I think that solidifies him as a Hall of Famer. Now, you can make the argument that right now he is already a boxing Hall of Famer with some of the wins he got. You know, two-time champion, unified, you know, win against multiple great fighters, especially during that previous welterweight era. You know, he fought a lot of the guys from that era. But some people won't stamp it because of his inactivity. You know, like I said before, yeah, he's fresh because he only fought 8 times in the past decade. But in terms of the fans and people remembering you, you know, you need to fight more. That's just point blank, period. More people would love to see Keith Thurman fight more. And as a Keith Thurman fan, I know I would, you know. We want boxing to get back to 3, 4, 5 fights in a year. I know, you know, I'm crazy for thinking that. I know it's not going to go back to that. You feel me? But one fight a year, less than one fight a year, that's on average less than one fight a year, you know, what Keith has been doing over the past decade. So I can see why people may not consider him a Hall of Famer, but I think with a win over this young gun and Fundora, that stamps his name in a Hall of Fame. You know, that's multiple champions, another champion you can add to your list, the young guy. He is the favorite as well in this fight. Like, if he's able to get this win and does it in great fashion, man, you can't keep Keith Thurman out the Hall of Fame. You know, he would already beat Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Guerrero, took Manny to hell, feel me? Like, he's done a lot of great things in his career. So I think this will just be stamping his legacy. And he actually might continue to fight, too, because, like I said, he's 37, but he's a fresh one. Like, he gets this win over Fundora, who knows? He might go try to unify or continue to add to his legacy, you know. I'm sure he has a lot. I actually heard in a recent interview that he's looking to continue fighting for the next few years. I don't think he's ready to give it up yet. So who knows? He might continue to, beat some people in fights and, continue to build to his legacy. So all in all, I think this will be a really great matchup. I'm super excited. I can't wait. Drop in the comments who you guys think will win this fight, man. Drop in the comments, man. And also, we're on all platforms. We're on X. We're on Instagram. Obviously, watching this on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and like I said, comment down below. I'm your boy, Real Vibes, and I'll see you next time, man. We out.